we'll start off with just how that plowing is going right now. Can you tell us just what kind of progress teams are making?
So we continue to make some progress, prioritizing, of course, first the expressways and our major arterial routes. And we've actually started now to plow. I think there's been about one round through some of the local roads as well. So from a Torontonian perspective, recognize that we do, categorize things in priorities, and our priorities are the major routes first. We've had multiple passes through them for sure, and now we're starting to change our approach to the local roads. We started plowing in Scarborough actually about noon yesterday. By about 4 o'clock yesterday, we were plowing on all the streets in all areas of Toronto. Plowing will continue, and then, of course, we're going to have to switch in the next day or so over to removal. There's simply too much snow in many parts of the city. We're going to have to remove some of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that this storm is quite significant, especially compared to what happened just a couple of weeks ago. Was there a reason why you started out in the East End when Etobicoke seems to have gotten the bulk of the snow here in Toronto?
So early yesterday, actually, Scarborough was seeing more of the snow, and then we've shifted to where the snow comes. And again, it's all about prioritization. Yesterday was really a day to stay in and stay off the roads if at all possible. And today it's about trying to dig out. But I think Torontonians need to recognize with this amount of snow, and you just saw from your clip there, with drifting and everything else, we can have significant amounts of snow on the streets. It's going to be very, very slow and difficult to get out, particularly on some of those local roads or your residential streets. We're doing our very best. Everybody that we have, the 1,300 people strong, are out today, and they have been for the last 24 hours getting ready for this, and certainly since yesterday about noon when it all started.
Yeah, doing some really hard work out there for sure. And those people that are living on those side streets, if they are waiting and maybe one of the streets that will be touched last, just priority-wise, how long can they expect before some sidewalks, especially for those with mobility issues, can be plowed?
Well, we're out doing it. So I walked to work this morning. Transit was going to be a little long for me, so I walked to work instead. And I was walking on sidewalks that have been plowed. And so we're out there plowing. So I just want to remind people, we're not out there doing it. It's just we've done more multiple paths through, and we've done more multiple routes in terms of our expressways and arterials. But I understand from our operations center, we've done a round of local road plowing. Sidewalks have been plowed. We'll just have to continue to do it. The other thing yesterday that was a bit challenging is the wind. So we'd go through with the plows, particularly on sidewalks, and because of the high banks next to them, the wind would just fill them back up with snow, even if the snowfall was tapering off. So those are all the challenges we're dealing with. Rest assured, Torontonians are getting the service. We're out there. We're doing local roads. We are doing sidewalks. They're just in their early phases in terms of the number of passes that we've been able to make, as opposed to some of those higher priority roads.
One of the other challenges, snowplows and crashes. We've seen at least 4 snowplows that crashed, 3 of them into hydro lines as well. Was it a visibility issue, or any update on what may have caused that situation?
It is visibility issues. There's plenty of training that goes on, both our contractors, our own staff, in terms of how to do it. But yesterday, very hard to see the road markings, very hard to see in general. The mayor and I were out thanking some of our workers yesterday late in the afternoon, and it was hard to see. So we try and, think about we have nearly 15,000 kilometers of road, nearly 8,000 kilometers of sidewalks. We obviously want to see no accidents, first of all, for the safety of all involved, including our operators. But things like that do happen. And I know that one of our plows hit a buried piece of wood that then went into a gas line yesterday. So we had a small gas line issue that needed to be taken care of. But it all comes down to the amount of snow that was on the ground and the visibility around us. We also want to let people know that we've activated our surge capacity, something new that we learned from last year. So we're actually going to be drawing on staff from all sorts of other divisions across the city of Toronto to help do some priority clearing of things like TTC stops or crossings where there's a pile of snow that the big plow left that we need to get rid of quickly. So we're starting that. They're already out. I saw actually one of the crews this morning on one of the transit routes. So we're going to continue to do that to try and keep Toronto moving. But the message today is it's going to be very very slow. If you don't have to go somewhere, especially early in the morning, probably best not to. But if you do, it's going to be a slow road today.
Paul, we've run out of time, but I wanted to quickly ask you just about the fact you even said it. You walked because the TTC was going to be a little bit too long. You're advising people to leave the car at home. TTC challenges, though, they are clearly in effect this morning, considering that line 1, line 2, and line 6 completely down on line 6, and line 1 and 2 having some challenges on both ends.
Yeah, and they're getting some buses on the road, the shuttle services, and we're working with them to prioritize plowing on those streets. So if you think about line 1, we're making sure that Yonge Street, good plowing there so that the shuttle bus service can run. So again, everything's going to be slower today, and that includes transit. But our goal is to make sure transit's up and operating as best we can today.
All right. Paul Johnson, City Manager for the City of Toronto, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure. Stay safe.